What if the most powerful awakener in the world was hiding inside the body of a scruffy, homeless cat? That's not a joke. That's Eleceed. Meet Jiwoo Seo, a kind-hearted teenager with a secret ability he barely understands. He can move at inhuman speed, react faster than the eye can see, and feel the emotions of animals around him. Most kids his age are worried about exams. Jiwoo is worried about the injured cat he just found on the side of the road. But this is no ordinary cat. This is Kayden, once the most feared and respected awakener on the planet, now trapped in the body of a fluffy, round, absolutely ridiculous-looking cat. His power, gone. His pride, shattered. His new reality, being carried around by a teenage boy who feeds him canned tuna. You'd think Kayden would be furious. And he is. But he's also smart enough to recognize something rare when he sees it. Because Jiwoo's ability, this raw, unrefined speed that seems to have no ceiling, is something Kayden has never encountered before. Not in decades of fighting. Not in a lifetime of training the world's elite. Dramatic tone. This boy is something different. So begins the most unlikely partnership in Manhwa history. A grumpy genius awakener who can only communicate through Jiwoo's ability to sense animal emotions, and a warm, goofy kid who has absolutely no idea what he's getting himself into. The training begins almost immediately, and it is brutal. Kayden pushes Jiwoo past every limit he thought he had. Faster, sharper, more controlled. Every session feels impossible. Every session ends with Jiwoo completely destroyed, and then showing up again the next day. Because that's who Jiwoo is. He doesn't quit. He can't. It's not in him. But the world of awakeners doesn't wait for Jiwoo to be ready. Threats begin closing in. Other awakeners, dangerous organizations, people who have already noticed that something unusual is happening around this ordinary-looking high school student. The peaceful life Jiwoo thought he had, it was already over the moment Kayden landed in his arms. By chapter 20, the stakes have completely changed. Jiwoo isn't just training anymore, he's fighting. And every fight reveals something that shocks even Kayden. The speed is growing, faster than it should, faster than seems possible. Like the ability is evolving in real time, responding to pressure, responding to danger, responding to Jiwoo's refusal to let the people he cares about get hurt. Dramatic tone. This isn't just a story about becoming strong. It's about what happens when someone with an unlimited ceiling finally starts climbing. And by chapter 30, Kayden knows the truth that he hasn't told Jiwoo yet. The truth about what this ability really is. The truth about what Jiwoo could become. And the truth about the people who are already coming. Specifically for him. The question isn't whether Jiwoo is ready. The question is whether the Awakener world is ready for Jiwoo. And trust me, they are not. He survived the first test. He found his footing. He even made a friend or two. But Jiwoo Seo had absolutely no idea that everything he'd been through so far was just the warm-up. Chapters 30 through 60 don't just raise the stakes for Jiwoo. They shatter them. After the chaos of his early Awakener encounters, Jiwoo is starting to understand the world he's been pulled into. This isn't just about having a cool ability. There is an entire hidden society operating beneath the surface of everyday life. Awakeners with terrifying power, secret organizations with their own agendas, and a ranking system that decides who lives comfortably and who gets crushed. And right now, Jiwoo sits at the very bottom of that system. But Kayden isn't letting that last. The training in this arc reaches a completely different level. No more basics, no more building foundations. Kayden begins pushing Jiwoo into territory that should be impossible for someone his age. Refining his speed into something surgical, something precise, something that doesn't just react to danger, but anticipates it. Every session is brutal. Every session leaves Jiwoo completely destroyed. And every single time, he comes back. That refusal to break is starting to mean something. Even Kayden, a man who has trained some of the most gifted awakeners on the planet, is running out of ways to explain what he's seeing. Because Jiwoo isn't just improving, he's evolving. Each fight, each push, each impossible situation seems to unlock something new. Like his ability has no ceiling, like it was designed to grow without limit. Then the school arc hits, and everything gets complicated in the best possible way. Jiwoo's world and the Awakener world collide on familiar ground. New faces appear, students who are more than they seem, rivals who carry power behind ordinary smiles, and at least one person who immediately recognizes that Jiwoo is something different. The social dynamics are layered perfectly. On the surface, it looks like a typical school story. Underneath it, dramatic tone, it's a pressure cooker full of Awakeners quietly sizing each other up. And then there's the fight that changes everything. Without warning, Jiwoo is forced into a confrontation that he is, by every logical measure, not ready for. The opponent is experienced, calculated, ruthless, the kind of Awakener who has crushed people far more trained than Jiwoo without breaking a sweat. Every instinct says run. Every rational thought says this is over. But Jiwoo doesn't run. What happens next is the moment this arc will be remembered for. Because Jiwoo doesn't just survive. He responds in a way that shocks everyone watching, including the opponent. That speed, that limitless, ceiling-breaking speed, shows up in a form nobody predicted. Raw, uncontrolled, overwhelming. It isn't clean, it isn't polished, but it is undeniable. And the people watching take note. This is the arc where ZeroRanked officially begins for Jiwoo. Not because he wins every fight, not because he becomes the strongest in the room, but because, for the first time, the right people start watching him. Powerful Awakeners, dangerous organizations, people who have spent years hunting for exactly this kind of potential. Kayden knows what that attention means. He has seen it before. He knows what happens to talented Awakeners who get noticed too early, before they're ready, before they have the tools to protect themselves. And for the first time since landing in that ridiculous cat body, Kayden is genuinely worried, because the world doesn't wait for you to be ready. It never has. And somewhere out there, in the shadows of this hidden society, dramatic tone, something is already moving. Something that has heard Jiwoo's name. Something that is asking questions. Something that is coming. And it is not coming to recruit him.